Just breathe and please calm down and know I miss those days. Just make sure to keep it all still straight so you can tell me all about it. Cause I'll be on my way back home to you. Take the time to be loved. Just wear your scars and don't speak. Cause I know you don't have the words, so I'll go slow and let it all work in. Don't you give in, don't you give up. There's more to tomorrow than the sun. And I know it seems long ago, but please hold on, I promise I'll be there. Oh, you'd say anything, I know that you'd say anything to keep it all around now. Cause that's just the way you do things. Oh, you'd say anything, I know that you'd say anything to keep it all around now. Take the time to be loved. Just wear your scars and don't speak. Cause I know you don't have the words, so I'll go slow and let it all work in. Don't you give in, don't you give up. There's more to tomorrow than the sun. And I know it seems long ago, but please hold on, I promise I'll be there. Don't let it all just go by. Don't you give in, and don't you give up. And I know we both don't have these words. 'Cause I know I'm begging you, please just hold on. 'Cause I promise I'll be there.
Oh, let's see. Is this thing working? Let me check my volume. Hey, my screen's not big enough to see it all. Check, check, check. Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is. Good. How's everybody doing? I'm dropping frames tonight? Interesting. Shouldn't be. Oh, minor issues. Okay.
People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way.
Interesting. Okay.
Birds chirping and I hear my name. Grass is green and so alive. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a strive. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty
Okay,
of
well,
the world. Savannah,
I think we should be doing okay now. So, I'm changing gears tonight. I'm not doing any blacksmithing. I decided that I've wanted something for a long time. And unfortunately, the price tag of them is really, really out there. So I decided that I was just going to build one of my own. And that is a trike. Essentially a three-wheel bicycle. I'm doing it in a what's known as a tadpole design, which means there's two wheels up front and one wheel at the back. And I've never built a bike before. So, I've done a little bit of pre-cutting, and I've got to do some more cutting here. And I'm actually going to start with the rear forks. So where the rear tire goes. So I've got two pieces cut out, or at least the length, and I've got them marked. And what I need to do is cut some 45s in here. And then I need to clean all the paint off, and eventually we'll weld them up. My goal today is to get, what I'd like to do is get the back part, most of the frame done. with the exception of the front, because A, I don't have wheels yet. Having a hard time finding the right wheels. Thanks to the pandemic, nobody's throwing their bikes out anymore. So I'm also debating on what I'm doing for the steering system. I think I'd like to do a little bit more of a complicated front suspension. Rigid in the back, you know, a little bit of flexibility in the front. So we'll see. It's really going to determine or be determined by what kind of materials I get. So on to cutting. So first I'm going to cut at a 45-degree angle here. Could have done this all in the bandsaw, but that'd be no fun. So there we go. That is number one done. And I'm just going to clean this up on the grinder really quick. So I'll switch cameras here. And I'm going to check this, just to make sure everything's fine. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my square, speed square up. And yeah, we're right at that 45-degree angle. Perfect. So that is one side done. Then we'll have to clean it up prior to welding, get all that paint on. And that is not the right piece. Okay. Mute my microphone for this.
never stop the rain. Birds chirping and I hear my name. Grass is green and so alive.
Hey Matt, how you doing? I'm doing fabrication tonight.
We must merely make
Building myself something.
Savannah, I'm coming home, Savannah. Savannah, the beauty of Savannah. Let's all take a walk, Savannah.
Remember, oh cool, your anvil got here. I don't know if I showed you any pictures, but I've wanted to build a trike, basically a tadpole trike. That's basically a 3-wheel bicycle with 2 wheels in the front and 1 wheel in the back. And then of course I've got a e-hub here, so we'll make it electric. But I thought the fabrication process would be kind of cool. So, and I was going to do it anyway. So I might as well go live and screw up where everybody can watch. And maybe somebody will learn from my mistakes that are sure to happen along the way. Or at least the things I have to work out in my head. So, and I am loosely following some plans from Atomic Zombie. Essentially, it's called their Warrior Trike, and I'm using that as a basis just to give me some measurements and stuff, because I don't know anything about it. I've never built a trike before. I've never built a bike before, or any vehicle for that matter. So, well, that's not true. Actually, I have hacked apart a few motorcycles before the past, but we won't talk about this. It was fun. Anyway, I'm going to turn my mic off and clean the paint off of these. Sorry, I realized the same 5 songs were playing, so. Hey, Jeff. A horrible weld for a bracket for your kayaks. Huh. Yeah, I'm not much of a stick welder. I'm not much of a MIG welder either, but you're gonna see me MIG weld tonight, so that's one half of it done. I just need to take the paint off of one side here. Yeah, apparently I did the other sides already. So wait, a small welder like the one I had you use? Because I don't have a small welder. Or do you mean that you have a small version of my welder? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, if I had a nickel for every time other guys told me that. All right. So, let's see what we got here. So now I need to do my layout. And I've already marked this at the right distance. And I've cut the back part of this. So cool. You know, it looks off to my eye, but I've measured it. What happens if I spin this around? It just seems like that looks a lot better. But I realize I could just be seeing this wrong. Well, yeah, not the size, it's the motion. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack that on there just to make sure that it doesn't move on me. So, close your eyes, kids. I'm just tacking, I'm not doing some solid welds yet, but... This is literally just to hold it in place. There we go. And that way I can break them later on. So, that is looking pretty good. I am going to grab a clamp.
Head on track.
Put a little bit of pressure on this.
At the end of your record.
Later on, I'm going to come back and clamp these, or cap off all the hollow parts. You can see, like right here where it's hollow. Cut twice, measure once, right?
The end of your CD, and hope maybe the diehards.
If it's off a little bit,
Notice the track time.
I don't think it's going to be bad.
Minutes long.
As a matter of fact, I am going to purposefully put it off just a hair because of my capping.
You're just too damn
It's going to happen later on,
to say what
but I think that's good. So I'm going to just tack it.
damn afraid to say what you feel.
Okay. Cool.
'Cause there's nothing worth living
Now I'm going to flip it over and tack on the other side, and then I can actually start my real welds. So,
grains of salt are falling around you, slow glowing light. It's onto you.
still need to be careful with it at this point. It's just some really flimsy welds on there, holding it together. Okay, so much better. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my welding helmet. Now we'll get some welding done. Done. Okay. flip this again. Do the other sides here. Okay, those look good. I want to be able to grind these welds flat, or flush anyway. Now let's break that weld. Cool. That scrap is... I tried to straighten a piece last night. Didn't work out so well. Alright. So... now I'm going to come in here and I want to run a bead in these corners. So, trying to make them look as good as possible because it's going to be really, really difficult to grind inside there. So, plus, I've got a 21-year-old kid who's a professional welder, so, you know, he'll give me hell for this if they don't look great. If you're wondering what I'm doing right now as far as this build goes, so I've just made this part right here, and see if we can lock it into something, or at least give you an idea. It's not really going to lock too well. Yeah, I can get this open far enough. Not quite. So, I'll just show you by example. Yeah, well, I'm using gas shielding, so there's really very minimal spatter. So, what I just made, this is where I still need to make the standoffs for this, but I'll design those and cut them out on the CNC table. But essentially, that is where the back wheel is going to get mounted. So, that looks pretty good. And again, I don't know if you can see this, I left just a little bit right in here so I can come back and cap those later on. Because once I sand all this up, you know, flat wheel it all smooth, and basically prime it and paint it, I want it to look really good. I want it to look professional. I want people to, you know, think I actually bought it. The problem is with this style trike. Yeah, that is a motorized hub for the back. So, yep. The problem is that if you buy one of these commercially made, they're $6,000 to $14,000 on average. And so far, it has cost me absolutely nothing. Even the hub was something that was given to me. I will have to buy 2 front wheels and disc brakes. And because I'm going with disc brakes instead of the standard bicycle, you know, V-brake or U-brake, this is going to be kind of a fast-moving cycle, you know, or bike. And so it's really going to need a lot of stopping power, especially in the front. You don't want to rely on the back for stopping that. So next, I'm going to do the part for the headrest. And what I've got marked on here is I need to do a 45-degree cut here. That's going to mount up with our frame. And I also need to do a V-notch here, and that's actually where our rear forks are going to go. Yeah, it's called a tadpole design. Whereas a lot of other trikes, you know, the older style trikes were what they call a delta design. So, but I like the tadpole. It's got a little bit of a shorter wheelbase, and I'm still deciding what kind of suspension I'm doing in the front. The biggest issue that I'm running into right now is basically finding 20-inch tires with 15 millimeter or larger axles. And that have hubs that are capable of taking a disc brake. So what I think I'm going to have to do is buy 20-inch rims, buy a disc brake hub that I can put my own bearings into, and then make like a 20 millimeter axle on the lathe, and so that'll be cool. But it'll be very, very custom. And you know, I thought this was a kind of a neat project to go live with. So. Who knows? You may not have ever seen this on Twitch before. I know some guys, you know, some of you are watching on YouTube, and, you know, there's plenty of people that have done this on YouTube, but still. And if you're new to the channel, if you're on Twitch, please give us a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like that video and subscribe. Matt, it's not that I'm a jack of all trades. I mean, there's nothing I can't fabricate with metal. I know that. And I'm not trying to be arrogant about that. I've done it a lot. But I'm also cheap. So, yeah, well, so Jeff, on a trike, essentially, with the tadpole style trike with one wheel, you know, in the back, essentially you're not getting the braking power. And if it's wet or loose sand or gravel, dirt, you know, it's really it's not going to provide the stopping power. So you really want that on the two front wheels. That's what you're using primarily. And the back wheel is just kind of a parking brake, or like if you're on a hill and you just, you know, need to stop rolling back kind of thing. So I'm going to cut this notch, which is literally just a V that makes two 45-degree angles.
These cameras clicking, shutters turning, flashbulbs burning, film it's whirling on and on. I say we don't belong. Lights come down and you become the brightest. Weeks no longer made of 7 days. There's lavish thinking, wardrobes beaming, expensive. It's just a dream and on and on. The last one took so long, and it fills my heart. What a time.
Trying to be careful with those cuts there. I'm going to clean them up on the sander. But to give you an idea, what I did there was I notched that out like that. And so this right here is actually going to sit right in there. And then that's going to attach to our frame. So this is actually the rear support, basically the rear support of the frame. And then this is going to be cut at a 45-degree angle here to provide those the correct angles there. I'm just going to clean this up really quick. I guess I can give a shot of what I'm doing. So I'm just coming in here, just taking the burrs off. Cool. So that looks good. Now I'm going to go back to this other end. And I'm going to cut that 45-degree angle right here. In order to get that cut as clean as possible, I only cut through the top layer. Now I'm going to flip it over, do the exact same thing on this side, and then I'll rotate it again and cut the webbing in between, essentially. So that's done. It's not perfect, but I'm going to take it over to the grinder here. And you can see here, it's just a little rough. So that's what I'm trying to clean up right now. I squared up my tool rest last night, so this should go pretty quick. That looks pretty good. I'm going to chamfer this side just because I'm going to end up welding it. Want to clean up just a little more right there. There we go. So that looks good. So now all that's left to do is take all the paint off of this. This was some sort of truck frame, like utility frame. My next door neighbor has a industrial scrapyard, and so I went over and I was like, "Hey, Bobby, can I go rooting through your junk?" And so yeah, sure. So it's a little heavier than what I would normally use, and I think a lot of builders use like 1/16. This is just under an 1/8 of an inch thick, so it is going to be a heavier bike, but that's all right. It's my first one. And really, it's just going to be used on some rail trails around here. So the areas that I'm really concerned with are where I'm going to be welding. You know, the rest of this I can kind of clean up later on, but try to keep this as expedient as possible. Show that I think it started out on BBC, Junkyard Wars. That's what I feel like right now. trying to make something out of scrap metal. That show back now that I think about it. That was a great show. Okay, so now we've got 99% of the 99% of that taken off of there. So what I need to do next is I want to figure out the center. Whoop. There we go. So I want to figure out the center of this piece because I've already marked the center right here. So that way I can just line them up. So, our tubing is 1.5 inches. Means it's 3/4 of an inch. There we go. So I think I'm actually going to weld this over here where I can lock this in. But I marked it out. Seem to have the right angles. No pun intended. But I guess that is actually what it is, the right angles. And I want to make sure that this is at the appropriate angle as well. I'm going to mark this on both sides, just so I can kind of line it up. Hey, you take care, Jeff. That is wrong. So let's grab our electrode. And what I'm going to do is just tack it on here. Make a nice little happy weld. Okay, so I'm just going to put a small bead on here. Just enough okay, I'm going to check this for correct geometry first before I do any heavy welding on this. So that is definitely off. Question is, by how much?
Looking out the window, seeing something, perhaps. The colors are all desaturated. Well, they always like this, or then you just find a snap. And you're better off alone with people.
That looks right.
The little you gaslight you and make you feel unsafe.
Just doubled. Hey, if Bob Ross was a welder, I would have watched that show a lot more. Just imagine him like, nice little happy welds. Boy, he'd get really pissed off. Every welder I know is like pretty foul-mouthed, so. Except for my son, he's completely innocent. Obviously, he would never swear or anything like that around me. All right. Just double checking. There we go. Looks pretty level. I'm going to double check it with a square. Boy, if that's off, it's off by, I mean, a thousandth of an inch. Actually, so you just close your eyes. It's just a tack. Most guys are not going to put their helmets on just to deliver a tack. Now that I'm getting ready to do my full weld, obviously I put those on. But my safety glasses are also, they're actually a tinted safety glass, so it blocks a lot of that. What gets me is like maybe the tip of my nose, or if I normally always have facial hair, but like sometimes my ears might get a little burnt, but that happens all the time in welding. You get a little sunburn. And then if I'm doing a lot of tacks, I have some even more, like, these are what they call shade 5s. And they're actually meant for brazing, but they work really well when you're doing a lot of tacks. There we go. It's a nice looking weld. Hit one spot. Now, number one rule for welding, hit one side, hit the opposite side, because welds have a tendency to pull. So they'll tighten up and they'll contract as it cools down. Looks pretty good. A little heavier right here. Good. Now I'm going to flip it over. Just got 2 more seams. Looks good. Again, I'll be able to come back and clean those welds up later with a flap wheel. I still want to cap everything. That way the environment stays out of, But again, let's take a look at this. So once I do the dropouts on the CNC table, it's just going to sit right in there. I just have to make, they're going to be, what, about 2.5 inches tall, I think. So, I want to design them so that I can get, you know, some nice, nice adjustments in there. But sliding out of this vise. This vise only has about 1 inch of grip on there. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Starting out. So I'm going to set that over here. Whew. And next is the big frame. So my idea here is, this already had sort of a bend in it already. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to try to make that work for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut a wedge out of here and then bend this to get the right angle. So I've already marked it out. I've measured it. I think I measured it correctly. I guess we'll find out. But instead of cutting this and marking out the angles and trimming the piece and then trying to weld them back together, this is going to be a lot more structurally sound. And I think that's kind of important. You know, it's my ass up next to the road, so... Reload on nicotine and change this flap wheel out. Hey, welcome! Lots of new viewers on Twitch. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, or not subscribe, just like or follow. That's it. Like and subscribe's on YouTube, and it doesn't look like there's anyone watching on YouTube right now. But then I'll go back tomorrow and there'll be, you know, several hundred views, so. Alright. Cool. See my safety glasses. I'll start taking that notch out of there. I may actually have to fire up the forge to get some heat on there, because I'm out of oxyacetylene. The nice thing about having a blacksmith shop is it's kind of a full metal fabrication shop. I mean, so I guess I should turn that mic off for you guys. The difficult part is getting this correct on the other side. And also putting that down correctly. But now I've got to change the discs, because I don't reuse any disc that's ever hit the floor. Give me a second. Just a bad idea. If your grinder drops, even if the disc looks like it's good, especially these like little 1/16 thick discs, don't trust it. Your face is much more important, and your arteries and everything else, and they're really hard to stitch back together. Keep on forgetting to turn that mic off. I hope it's not too bad for you guys. All right, one last cut and then we can bet. Okay, so that is just dangling in there. I'm going to grab a file, clean that up really quick. If I have the right size file. There we go. So a half round bastard file should get in there. Just want to take any burrs away. Those cuts are pretty clean in the first place, and I don't expect this to go all the way closed. Just trying to get angle close. We're going to stitch weld it back together. So let's see. Oh, that bend's so nice. No forge required. And yeah, that's nice. So there we go. Now we've got our frame bent. Everything seems to be lining up. I am just going to bring it over here really quick. I'm going to give it a little tap on the anvil with a hammer, just to make sure it's all lined up. It looks nice and straight. Yeah, that bend went perfect. No complaints there. So, like I mentioned last time, I'm gonna start here at the opposite side that's already supported, just so it doesn't try to open up again. Oh. One thing I did not do, I did not take a flap wheel to this and clean it. So let me do that really quick just to get some contacts in there. Well, actually, square that up a little bit. Let's see. It's not very thick paint on here. It's been sitting for years, so. There we go. I've got enough penetration in that weld that I can go ahead and just really clean that up later on. Oh. I'm going to start on the other side. I'd rather pull this weld towards me.
Something's got to give. In all of us, it's guilt. If there's a part of me that comes up when you say, are you low, are you low, are you low, are you low? Something's got to give. In all of us, it's guilt. If there's a part of me that comes up when you say, are you low, are you low, are you low, are you low?
A little bit bold. There we go. That is looking really nice. And for the last part of this, we'll clean it up just a little bit. So this is actually the top side. Just like that. That's how our frame goes. And lastly, this will mount in like that. Starting to make sense? Cool. Then I'll have to sand the whole thing and figure out what we're doing for the front suspension and steering system. I've given it some thought, but I really want to see what wheels and hubs I actually find first. I have a donor four-wheeler. Might make for kind of a cool suspension up front here. So, you'll have to stay tuned for that one. So, I'm going to come around to the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple of layout marks here before I actually weld this. Just kind of want to figure out where that C-post is going to go. And it's pretty square. So let's bring this down 1 inch from that end. That's going to be capped off. And what is the cross-section distance? A 45-degree angle. Is it 2 inches? Yes, 2 inches. When you cut a 45-degree angle in 1.5 inch tubing, the 45-degree angle's length is actually 2 inches cut. So, actually, let's bring this back. I'm going to bring this back 1.5 inches. Mainly because I may end up using this little tiny bit right here to mount something in the future. So if I have it, I can weld onto it, I can do whatever I need to. I may even end up taking this at 445. I don't know. Continue the whole thing in there. Who knows? So let's take a look at this. Awesome. And to make sure that we're actually hitting 45-degree angles, that's what these little triangular magnets are for. Now, somebody in the shop is putting tape all over them. Back. Not to be confused with Matt. Alright. Get our 45-degree angle. I think that's right. Not that this is big enough to hold it, but just want to make sure that we're getting our angle right. Okay. And to make sure that we are getting everything square, let's find a couple of clamps here. Let's see. Got that one. Have this one as well. I guess we can use that. What I'm going to do is clamp this on. Bring it forward just a hair. So with that clamped on here, I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, you can. So with this clamped on here, now it's all in line with our frame. If I do the exact same thing for this piece, I'm still going to have to hold on to it, but it will be a lot easier to get aligned. This is where a third person comes in. So I need to open that up just a hair. What I'll do is come in, hold this with my good hand, apparently. Close this up. Lined up. Okay. Pretty good. Lined up pretty much where I want it. I know that it's nice and straight. So I'm just going to get a tack on here. Or it goes down to alignment. Make sure it's flush. Yep. Double check, right? And put a tack. There we go. So now that shouldn't move on me. That means I can get my helmet on and finish this. Sorry, a third hand, third arm, you know, to improve my ski boxing. Actually, Thomas, what you don't know is I have two different personalities, both living inside this, you know. It means I'm never lonely. Alright, so I'm going to do this weld across the front here. Double check something. Oh, rat, you bastard. Is that angle crucial? I don't think so. I think I'm going to run with it. I've got basically like a 1/16 of an inch of gap there. And I don't really know that it matters all that much. I think it's going to look really nice, regardless. When it's all welded up, you'll never know. So instead of being 45 degrees, it's going to be, I don't know, 47 degrees. Cool. Now I think I can take this clamp off of there. So, get that magnet out. This one I'm going to leave on, mainly because I'm going to rotate this whole frame and get this side. Then I can take that clamp off. Just want to make sure it stays where I want it. Good clean weld. Now I can take that off. It's a little bit more manageable. Cool. There we go. Let's flip that frame. Oh man, my quench tank's in the way. What did I do with that? There we go. Very happy with that one too. Alright. Now the weld that sucks. That little tiny, essentially that 45-degree high wedge there. Get that as best as I can. Now flip it over, get that other side. Figures. Let's see if I can. How close can I get this? Anvil's in the way on one side, and quench tanks in the way on the other. Go figure. So which side do I need? Oh, that side right there. Cool. Excellent. So, let's wrap this stuff up. I can turn the welder off. All right. So there we go. There's the beginning of our frame. Now the very front part here might end up getting trimmed down. I may make it telescoping as well. Now the wheel will get mounted right under here, just like that. And we'll see. If I don't use this section here, I may end up cutting this at a 45-degree angle as well and capping it off, just to make it look really nice. But to give you an idea, here, we'll just set it up on top there. Obviously not perfect, and not where it goes. It's supposed to go underneath these. But that is the start of the trike build. Very excited. Gonna be really happy to get this thing going and on the road. Yeah, the main thing I'd like to get about 4.5, 5 inches, maybe 6 inches of ground clearance here. So I'm going to design my dropouts to give me a little bit of lift. So I've got to do some off-camera measuring and stuff. But so far, I mean, I've got what into this right now? Looks like an hour and a half. So that's really not too bad. Tonight, when I'm up at the house, I'm going to design some parts on for the cutout on the CNC table, like my dropouts and everything else. So, hey, really great of you to hang in there. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun build. It's something I haven't done in a while. Just, you know, well, I've never made a bike before, but still, it's cool. Well, thanks guys for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're watching this on Twitch, please give me a follow. Really appreciate it. The follows help. You can't subscribe to me yet because I don't have enough followers yet. But hopefully any day now that will change. So, again, appreciate you guys tuning in and spending your time with me. And I'll probably be back tomorrow with something completely different. So, you have a great night. Take care. Catch you on the flip side.
What did you know? Oh no, it's like a sear I throw you. Oh no, what did you know? Lately, it feels as though you blame me for everything that's one by one. And I'll show you openly that nothing's ever gonna be like this. If I'm man enough, there's nothing to it. I'll let it all go. I'll take it through a step by step. It's coming on faster than you know. You're ready for it. Side games